Just wearing a suit and tie doesn't make you a professional. Hello there, and welcome back to the Young Black Professional. My name is Olivia, and I am so glad you're here. So thanks for joining me, and let's get right on into the video. So, what is professionalism? It doesn't just mean suit and tie. I've seen tons of professionals, think white-collar jobs, finance, accounting, banking, and they evinced everything but professionalism. So what the heck is it? It's a combination of your attitude, discipline, and presentation. But let's stop for a minute and let's break those down. Your attitude and the way you treat people is a combination of your self-confidence, emotional intelligence, and how you handle or react to situations. To be clear, you don't have to be 100% self-confident, but you should have a high degree of confidence in your work, in your knowledge, in any products or services you're endorsing, anything you sign your name to. You really should have a relatively high degree of confidence in. And take me, for example, I'm sitting here, I'm not 100% confident. I don't normally do videos. I would like to. We're going to get into a groove, hopefully. But I'm not a professional actor. I'm not a professional video speaker. I don't do interviews. It's all about the way you portray yourself, you see yourself. So if you don't have any confidence in anything that you're doing, how can you realistically expect anybody else to be confident in you or your abilities? If you've ever watched people at a party, they tend to gravitate towards the charismatic people who are fun to be around, who are the life of the party, and that's because they come across self-confident. Whether they are or not, that's up for debate. But think about your own life. Do you enjoy surrounding yourself with people who are constantly doubting themselves, their abilities, and yours? The answer is no. You don't want to be around insecure people because birds of a feather flock together. You want to be around secure people and eventually be that assured person so you can feel good and you can be empowered to make others feel good too. Along with confidence comes integrity, though. One of the most impactful things anyone can do, and that I've seen people do, is own up to their mistakes, acknowledging when they've done something wrong, and making an honest and conscientious effort to fix it. It's so common to feel like you need to be perfect or correct all the time, or you have to come into your field with a certain level of expertise, but part of professional and personal growth come from your openness and willingness to be corrected. If you don't know something, you can always go do some research or go to someone that already has that knowledge and discuss it with them. Don't say you know something when you don't. I could say the sky is purple with the utmost confidence and just be sure that I know that I'm right, and somebody else can quickly come along with some clear-cut scientific evidence that the sky is blue. Don't lie. That ruins your reputation and your credibility. It'll also cause a hit to your confidence if you're not too careful, because then you'll feel a little stupid. You'll feel a little silly. I feel a little silly if I went around saying the sky is purple and everybody else knows it's blue. Now let's talk about your emotional intelligence. That's how you identify and manage your emotions and those of others. Constantly developing emotional intelligence influences your professionalism by guiding your interactions with coworkers, supervisors, clients, patients, whomever. Understanding how you and others react will help you strategize in how and when to approach other people and for what. So let's give a concrete example here. Let's say you really want a raise and you make a plan to talk to your boss about it tomorrow. You practice your speech 10,000, maybe 20,000 times, and you just know you're going to get this raise tomorrow. if you don't get this raise tomorrow, you could go just about anywhere because you feel like you are just it. Tomorrow comes, you're sitting at your desk, you're there bright and early, your boss comes in, visibly distraught. You're heading in anyway, you're about to sit down, say, I think I need a raise. This is how I have impacted the company. I've done XYZ. But they tell you that a family member is sick and they don't know if they're going to make it. Listen to me right now. Look at my face. Look at my face. Now's not the time. No, not the time. Showing professionalism sometimes means, and the key word here is sometimes, means putting humanity and empathy before your professional or financial ambitions. I shouldn't have to tell you that, and I think if you're watching this, you'll probably be like, why the heck is she telling me this? But it's not always clear to some people. Ask your boss if they're okay, or send a nice card the next day. Just be a human. Don't fail at humaning. There's enough of that going on right now. The other times when that humaning piece and that empathy piece don't apply are when somebody just doesn't care. They don't care about the work. They don't put any effort into the work. They don't really care about the team. And that just negatively affects everyone and the business as a whole. Then I don't think you should be using too much empathy unless you sit down, have a discussion, and get an understanding of why. But I think it's pretty clear sometimes somebody just doesn't want to be there. So when you're dealing with situations like this, all you have to do, and this is simple, is use your emotional intelligence. It doesn't have to be a high emotional intelligence, but here's the key. Use your common sense. And common sense, as my mother always says, is not that common. So use your emotional intelligence and common sense. I'll link some articles down below in the description so that way you can read them and hopefully help hone and increase your emotional intelligence. I think it's only beneficial for you in the professional realm, but also the personal realm too. And hopefully you can build some empathy, you can learn some new things, and get a better understanding of how to interact with different people of not only different backgrounds, but also different mindsets than you. I think we've all seen or heard about the terrible bosses that just yell and scream and berate employees. We've also heard horror stories about how people were fired out of spite because here in the US, I don't know if you're in the US, but there's this thing, but here in the US, there's this thing called at-will employment. You can sign a contract and you'll be hired at will, which also means you can be fired at will. There doesn't necessarily need to be a reason. It is probably better if there is a reason for legal purposes, but at any point in time, you can be let go. A true professional doesn't go around talking crap about everybody and anybody behind closed doors or behind their backs. A true professional knows how to speak to people and knows how to treat people respectfully and respectably. People, specifically clients or customers, respond better when you're respectful no matter how you feel or what the situation is. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but the last thing you want to tell an angry person is to calm down. Think about it. Think of all of the Karen situations going on. Would you tell a Karen to calm down, and how would that go? That's what I thought. Being a good professional means you can clearly articulate problems or issues with people, systems, organizations, and to be honest, that comes with being faced with confrontations. If you avoid confrontation or conflict your entire career, you won't have the skills to handle conflict effectively. I've seen it time and time again. You need to practice the skill of negotiation and de-escalation of issues. You need to flex that muscle more because in our personal lives, do we really deal with conflict the way we probably should? I don't. I know for years I was just on if we're not getting along, it's fine. I'll find another friend another day if we're not that close. And that's not the way we need to approach this in business. Because at the end of the day, if it's a coworker that sits next to you, if it's a boss that's over you, so to speak, or even if it's somebody who reports into you, you're going to have to see them again the next day. The chances are they're not going to quit on the spot just because of a small rough patch. Or even if it's a big rough patch, I mean, you can go to war, but who wants to waste that energy? I can't tell you how many times I've seen people just constantly tear each other down or be petty, and it's just such a drag. It's a waste of your energy. It's a waste of your time. You could be leveling up your expertise and getting ready to go with all that energy if that's how you really feel. Here are some of the things you can do to build your confidence. Say or write positive affirmations that remind you of all of the training, classes, research, or work you've done to get to where you are right now. Change the way you walk. Sit up straight. You know, sometimes just a quick posture change can change your outlook and your disposition. This way, kind of hunched over, I feel bleh. This way, I feel confident. I feel powerful. I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm content. It's great. Remember that no one can take your education or the work that you've put in away from you. Even if you have student loans, you already got the education, boo. You got it. If you feel like somebody is undermining you, but you know you did the work, you've done the work. They can't take that away from you. It's already been done. You've already gotten the experience. You've already gotten the knowledge. You got this. Are you self-disciplined? Do you know what you have to get done and actually do it? Are you plagued by perfectionism and it often prevents you from starting something, has you procrastinating on it, or just scrap entire ideas? Stop it. I can say that because I used to and still sometimes do that. Just stop it. Not having the discipline to sit down and just do what you need to get done holds you back. And honestly, the person who's trying to be perfect and even just getting a YouTube channel up, so many people have probably surpassed me because I've thought of this for years and I wanted it to be just right. And here I am, years later, just finally doing it. And me doing it now is me beating somebody else to the punch who wanted to do it but wants to get it 100% perfect. It just doesn't happen all the time. And that's okay. It's okay to not have everything polished and perfect because why? You're not an expert yet, and that's okay. And if you are an expert, you can always get better. There will always be somebody better, smarter, faster than you. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to want to be the best, the brightest, the fastest, the most efficient. It's okay. But once you start to get complacent, or once you get so focused on being the best that you're not even developing skills to be the best, is it really you being the best? Are you ever going to be the best if you don't just start doing it? Didn't think so. So discipline is doing what you know you need to do, understanding the time frame that it needs to be done, and getting it done within that time. A part of discipline is also just keeping your word. People really respect you when you do what you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do something and do it, or when you're going to be somewhere, you're supposed to be somewhere, and you actually show up. Now, with everything being so chaotic and crazy, it's understandable if you kind of get a little off guard. And now, with everything kind of being the way that it is, it's okay to maybe here and there not feel like you want to do anything. I get it. But try and keep your word. Be a person of your word. If you watch this show called The Prophet, which I love, with Marcus Lemonis, he does every deal with a handshake. There's not a contract, it is a handshake. And why is that? That's because he believes people at their word. If you develop that type of credibility and that type of reputation, people respect it. People respect it, and they respect your word, and they want to work with or for you. To be honest, they want to work with or for you because you have integrity and you are taken at your word and you're trusted at your word. Word is bond. And if you're not familiar with that, I think you should get familiar with that, because word is bond around here and word is bond in the business world. So keep your word. Your word is your bond. Along with the whole word is bond piece, it's just important to keep your expectations realistic. Expertise doesn't come overnight. Nothing worth merit or worth having ever comes like that. So you're going to have the discipline to do the day in and day out in order to get to that level of expertise you want. You don't just get to be expert level from being a novice. Just like that. That's never how it works. If you'd like a method or some form of doing better at the discipline piece, you can try doing the hardest thing that you have first thing in the morning, the eat the frog method. It gives you a nice little sense of accomplishment, and maybe you'll feel a little bit more inspired to get through a ton of other things. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is your or my expertise. Take your time, dedicate yourself, and do the hard things. You'll get to that expert level, and it will feel so much better when you know that you've dedicated time, resources, and just general energy to get there. Finally, we're talking about presentation, and with presentation comes appearance. I have on a suit today, quite nice one, might I add. We've got my little pack in here, but we're going to ignore that. Because impressions matter. Impressions and appearance matter. Some of you may not know me from Adam yet. And in this case, the way I'm presenting myself lends the credibility that you wouldn't otherwise give me immediately. If I had on a graphic tee and jeans, similar to my trailer or my makeup tutorial, would you have clicked this video as quickly? The topic is professionalism, and the first thing most people think is a suit or a button down, so I'm playing on that for this video. Did you catch it? First impressions make all the difference when you're first starting out and trying to make a name for yourself. Think about it. Do you dress well for an interview? Why do you do that? Why do you even dress well on a first date? You don't have to be the best dressed or have the most expensive outfits, accessories, or even makeup. It's all about the effort you put into making yourself look your best each day. And that is unique to you. And that is dependent upon your style and the way you perceive and want to portray yourself to the world. Just put in the effort. And I promise you, once you start to get used to it and really take care of yourself, putting in that effort comes almost second nature. So besides looking the part, it's helpful to actually feel and be the part. Having your meeting notes, mail, whether it be physical or email, and thoughts together makes your presentation effortless. I've been asked to speak numerous times on a dime because I stay ready. Clarity, focus, and organization in your life overall. No, you don't have to have OCD or be a type A person to have these, but those three will make your life so much easier. It won't take much effort to state what you're thinking about, give a quick recap, or even have questions in the clip ready to ask. if you know where all of your stuff is. You just have to know where all your stuff is. If you go in a mess, you'll feel a mess. This level of clarity and organization breeds efficiency, and you waste less time looking for your stuff and more time actually doing things. You also look less disorganized to bystanders if you know where your notes are and you aren't struggling before a meeting to find the right notes, notebook, pens. Take it from me, I've been there and I've done that. It's not a good look. And especially if you think you know where something is and you have maybe 5 minutes before a meeting, you're like, I can wait a second. I'll just grab it right before the meeting. Where are my notes? Where is my pen? What am I doing with my life? You might spiral into an existential crisis at some point. I get it. I've been there. Don't let that happen to you. So here we are at the end of the video. I hope that all of this helped you and gave you some ideas and ways that you can hone different aspects of your professionalism skill. Let's each hold each other accountable and work on our professionalism together. Drop a line in the comments, share this video with a friend if you think it might help, and subscribe if you're interested in seeing other similar videos or just want to come back and hear me talk for a bit. Thanks. Peace.